Welcome to weeks 22, 23, and 24 on our little farm where we spend time with friends, family, and we teach our kids to shoot suppressed 22s and slap steel at 30 yards.
Alright, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to take those cattle panels, or at least one of them, and I'm going to put them here. I'm going to make an arch to go over the rest of the garden. So that way we can grow beans or pumpkins or whatever. Alright, I think it looks pretty good. They're about 22 inches from the inside of the beds, and it's about 7 foot tall, something like that. So I'm fully able to get underneath it. Can't wait to see what we grow on it.
One of the highlights for this last couple weeks has been we bought this tractor, and it's a Massey Ferguson 135, and from what we learned, it's got a Z145 Continental engine, which I think was kind of an earlier setup. I don't know much about it. I just know that it's red, rusty, and so far it seems to be running okay, though I did notice that it does have a small oil leak on the side. I'd love to be able to spend more time with the tractor, but we have a ton of chores to go and take care of. One of our buddies from church, Chris, he brought his son down, who I hadn't actually met yet, and we were able to get some work done by moving some of the piles of sticks and brush that the tornado damage had left. And it was a good time. It was good to see them. I hadn't seen a lot of people from that time in my life since Haley and I moved down south, and it did a lot of good to spend time with these people. That day was an absolute blessing, and seeing Chris leave, kind of made me a little sad. I'll admit it. So I sincerely appreciate having not only seen Chris, but also got to meet his son. Haley also took to removing some of the sunflower seeds from 2 of the heads that we had saved from our last batch of sunflowers. The idea here is we're going to try to grow more sunflowers on an upcoming project.
It just exploded.
These last few weeks have been pretty cool. A lot of the house chores and side projects and stuff that needed to be done, I was able to take care of. In this case, I've been wanting to experiment with pressure canning, and some of the venison I got this year, I took a piece out, and this was the jerky batch that the processor had saved for me. Originally this was in the freezer, so I had to thaw everything out and get it prepped and ready, and that took a little bit of time. I got this recipe from some of our friends of the family. They had suggested that I use 1 teaspoon of salt per jar, but 1.6 pounds, which is what this is, per jar, is more realistic as opposed to the 0.8 pounds that I was trying to do. My initial thought was to load up each jar with about 0.8, or at least half the pack of meat that I had, so about 0.8 pounds, but when I actually did that, the amount of water that was in both cans was pretty substantial. I didn't really want to have that much water. Like I said, there's a ton of space left in these jars, and the recipe called for adding water to whatever the headspace is, and I realized, let's just go ahead and combine the two. I think it looks a lot better. So this is our Presto pressure canner, and it requires you to fill up to an absolute minimum of 3 quarts. There's a hash line way down in there, so I went ahead and filled her up as best I could. Didn't need to water bath it because this time we're only going to do pressure as opposed to water bath. Alright, once I got the lid all tightened up, turn the heat on and let it start to build pressure. This little device will pop up just like that and let you know that it's building pressure. It does take a little bit of time to build up enough pressure. I decided to do this at 10 pounds, but it kind of varied. All in all, I think the project came out pretty good. It looks like there's a little bit of head space left. Part of that's just angle from the way I'm holding the jar. One of the other side projects I've been trying to work on is I've been kind of slacking on my firewood making, and with my shoulders kind of messed up, I figured I'd give one of these stupid drill bit type deals a try, and it absolutely failed immediately. In fact, the battery powered drill that I was trying to use, it just instantly died. It said no. I tried the electric or the corded drill that we have, but it also just went right in and didn't even bother to split. So I'm sending it back. Kind of a waste of time. Yeah, that's kind of a hard no. Alright, so later in the day, I decided the wife had wanted me to work on another project, which was to make this kind of worm-based composting system that you can put things that you can't put in a normal compost, which in this case involves taking a bucket and drilling a bunch of holes in it. I don't know how many holes I'm supposed to drill, but I just went ahead and used a 3/8 bit and then kind of augered everything out. Then went and dug a hole, made it fit with the bucket. My understanding with this type of setup is you're supposed to have the bucket set just a little bit over top, maybe a couple of inches, so that it doesn't fill with water. So on Thursday of week 24, I went and bought a brush hog, which is cool. It's pretty well used, but we'll get to that here in a second. Anyway, the county did come actually pick up the initial pile of brush that Chris and his son helped put out front.
All right, here we go. 5-foot brush hog. Just got her here. Tell you what, that 4Runner, it struggles. I need to get a real truck, but this will do. Thank you, Lord. All right, so given the circumstances and how small the 4Runner is compared to all this, I put some blocks underneath the backside of the trailer to keep it so that when I bring the tractor up on it, it doesn't push down or lift up on the back end of the 4Runner and cause problems. Also, I chock the wheels so that this way I don't like bust a pin or anything in the transmission. All right, so I try to drive it up on there. I'm trying not to bend up the ramp here because it's pretty heavy. The board on that side snapped, so I'm just gonna use a come along to bring it off and then go from there. All right, I have no idea if this is gonna work, but thankfully the brush hog has angled entry points, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, the skids on it are angled. And I should be able to get up over the lift with a lip there, and I should have just enough to at least get it started. Let's give it a go. All right, I got the brush hog off the trailer. Worked out good. Now I'm running into, I didn't bring a hammer, and I need one to bash the pins out because everything is really old and rusty. Also, didn't realize this, but that linkage right there, right there, is a little bit cockeyed, and I need to bend the tab right there. I need to bend it a little bit, so I'll need a big wrench and maybe some heat. Anyway, I also don't have pins for stabilizer bars to lock everything in place, and again, everything is super rusty, so I need to go get like some Croyle or whatever it is, something, anything, some penetrant, and then bring out my mallet. Get me mallet, and then knock that pin out so I can put it in here, and also rotate that and get it set correctly. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. Man, it's hard to work with old equipment. Everything's all rusty, seized, but everything seems to be running pretty okay. So I think I will just drag it back to its sitting spot and then figure it out from there. I'm done fidgeting with the tractor and the brush hog. I gotta go get pins from Tractor Supply. The neighbor had an old top link. Mine's kind of rusted and seized, so I'm just gonna use his top link, and I think he's pretty much just gonna give it to us at this point, which is fine. I appreciate it very much, as I do all things from him and just in general. But that said, I think this pile of brush before us is prime candidate for work, since the county did take the previous pile. I didn't bring my chainsaw with me, but I do have a handsaw, so I can at least get maybe that pile down there. Anyway, let's get to it. All right, hey, this is looking pretty good. That is a very tiny little pile that I managed to get put on the trailer, but it's still a big pile. It's just on the trailer. Yay! Anyway, I'll drag this out to the front, and we'll be good. You know, I really like that TV show, Yellowstone, and this is just a little tangent, but I always thought about it. The gloves that those guys wear, you know, they look pretty clean. You think they look like this? I don't know. Good show, though.
I'm not really sure that I have much room to sit and talk smack about a TV show, but still, if the folks at Yellowstone want to send a pile of gloves my way, I'll be happy to break them in and make them look real good.
All right, so I grabbed actually 2 more piles. So I've got the one big pile here in the back. That's all done, and it no longer exists and is ready for pickup for the county. And then I went ahead and grabbed another pile of pine, and then a few more rounds. So I can take that home and add to the collection and turn it into firewood someday, probably. Thanks, Blake, for letting me borrow the trailer today.
All right, well, that pretty well concludes the last 3 weeks we've been working on here. I'm grateful that I could spend time with family and friends. Thank you, Chris and Gally. Thanks for coming on down. Anyway, I don't know what we'll be getting into next couple of weeks, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
Hey, girlies.